50 to 80% of my stuff or something, depending on the category. And I ended up getting rid of probably about 50% of my stuff, depending on the category. Some categories I got rid of probably 80%. But basically just, we were moving, so that helped. So we sold like most of our furniture too, because we were trying to go into a smaller place. So I did that. We sold most of our furniture. I got rid of probably like at least 70% of my clothing that I didn't use and tried to keep just the stuff I used. I got rid of a bunch of like knickknacks, and I got rid of probably 85 to 90% of my household decorations. We got rid of probably at least 50% of our dishes, dishware, kitchen supplies. Probably about 80% of the dishes. My theory was like, I hate doing dishes, and my theory was, well, okay, we have like 12 plates. Bring that down to 4 plates, and then every time you want to use a plate, after 4 plates have been used, you have to do the dishes. So every time you do dishes, you'll have to do them more often probably, but there'll be less dishes to do. And another thing we've been doing is using paper plates and stuff. Unless you get like recyclable or whatever, it's not necessarily environmentally friendly, so that's one thing to think about. However, it does save you a lot of time on doing dishes, and so much of my time I feel like is cleaning the house and keeping it clean. So for me to spend a little bit extra money on paper dishes and have less dishes to do, it's such a relief, especially since I live with mostly boys and they don't clean. They don't know how to clean. It's a foreign concept in their mind. Cleaning is like, what's that? What? You mean these dishes don't just magically get clean? You guys ever see that funny video where the guy puts stuff on the table and he's like, look babe, put this stuff on this table, and overnight it magically disappears. But it was really just the wife doing all the chores and they don't even notice. Anyway, I digress. The point is, I didn't want to do very much cleaning, so I thought I'll minimize my dishes. I probably got rid of like 80% of them, so that was cool. So far that has like kind of worked, because now I feel like I have less dishes, so even if I used all my dishes in one day, there wouldn't be as many dishes to do as there was before. However, it's still not perfect. I still end up having a lot of dishes because there ends up like pots, pans, Tupperwares, all those things that I use on a regular basis, so that's still dishes. But I feel like it's a little bit less dishes, so that's nice. I want to get rid of even more, but I only have 4 plates, so I feel like I can't really get rid of any more than that. But I do have like 4 big plates and 4 small plates and 2 like really small plates, so maybe I could do that. I don't know. But I feel like it's pretty minimalist already. That's not the area I'm struggling with the most. The area I'm struggling with the most is probably stuff in my room, like face supplies, makeup, you know, like toiletries stuff, like lotions, and then just like random books or pens, pencils, just like knickknacks that you have in your room / office, because mine's kind of the same. And I feel like I have way too many and I don't even use them, but that's the hardest thing for me to get rid of because it's all stuff that I feel like I'm going to use soon. Like I'll get rid of a pen and then the next day I'm like, oh, but I really wish I had a bright blue sparkly pen now, and I just got rid of that one because I never used it. That always seems to happen to me with office stuff, or you get rid of some glue because you're like, when am I ever going to use Elmer's glue? Then the next day you're like, I need some Elmer's glue. And some of the stuff that I got rid of, I ended up having to rebuy. But you know what? Don't let that discourage you from getting rid of stuff, because it really wasn't a big deal to rebuy it. It was just kind of frustrating. So I was like, gosh, I just got rid of that like a few months ago, and now I need something similar. But at least when you rebuy it, you can rebuy one that you like better, or one that fits your lifestyle better. Or you might learn, if you just push through it and don't get it, that you can find an alternative. Because that's kind of the thing too, is if you have something and you feel like you need it, but in reality, if you got rid of that thing and then next time you feel like you need that thing, you avoid using it and try to find an alternative, you might realize you didn't really need it. It was just like a withdrawal. You're like, oh, I wish I had that. Well, maybe you don't really need it. You just are feeling withdrawals from not having that thing you once had. Just like if you quit sugar or something and then you feel like you need sugar, well, you got to push past that, so then your body will realize, no, you don't need sugar. That sort of thing. So yeah, so basically I did a really great job with the Minimalist Challenge, and then we moved to a different state. We're in Tennessee now, and we're in a small apartment, and it feels like we have too much stuff again. And part of that is because we're in such a small apartment now. It's even smaller than our last apartment, and it has like less storage space. And so it does feel like we have less space because we have a few like big items like guitars and stuff that take up a lot of space, and computers that take up a lot of space, you know, with the whole desk and setup and everything. So it feels very cramped. So part of that is just because it is a small apartment. And, you know, small apartments are not built to be economically small like, say, a tiny house would. When someone goes out and buys a tiny house, they find all these really cool ways to maximize their space and make extra storage systems, and I feel like those are great and perfect, and it can make a tiny space feel big because you have all these great systems. But in a regular apartment, there is no organizational system. My closet is literally a piece of crap. I have to use all of my force and lift the doors a very special, unique way because there's these fucking old buildings. Like, oh my god, it drives me insane to get mad just thinking about it. Like these closet doors, you have to lift them just the ever slightest gentlest way and then use all your body force to push them or they will not move. So every time I have to get something from my closet, I have to do that. So it basically turns a place that's supposed to be my one and only storage space into the most difficult, frustrating place to access. So when you have like things like that, it makes organizing really difficult because who wants to spend 5 minutes every day pushing with all their might against closet doors just to get a shirt? So then I end up like throwing my clothes on the floor because I don't feel, I'm like in a rush. I don't feel I have time to take on the challenge of the 1920s doors systems, which probably worked great in the 1920s, but now that it's many years later, then they are not working so great anymore. Anyway, I've talked to my apartment manager and they said that they would replace the rails, but that hasn't happened yet. But I don't even know if that will work. I mean, you can replace the rails on these things and maybe it will be smoother, but you know how if you've had these in apartments before, they're always going to be frustrating anyway. Let's change it up. No, we're no longer in a dance party. We don't even have music in the background. Let's try it. Glamour. Do I look glamorous? Bubbles. That's awesome. Okay. So yeah, we're almost done with this, but so I guess I'm just saying that I feel really cramped and cluttered, and I've not been motivated to keep my house clean because it's so small and I don't have a really good storage system. So I really need to spend some time to just find out how I'm going to organize everything, because even if you have a small amount of stuff, if you don't have an organizational system for it, you're not going to keep it clean. So you're like, okay, I have to put away this pan, but I don't really know where this pan goes. And the only place I put it is here where it's all cluttered and there's no space for it. And my system's just not very good. So it doesn't encourage me or other people in the house to put things away properly because they either don't know where it goes or they feel like it's too much of a hassle to put it where it goes. So that's the main problem we're facing right now. So we got to practice organization. But also, I'm still not totally minimalist. Like, I did make a big shift from how much I had to how much I have now and how much I've learned to live without. And my mindset is getting better, but I still don't feel like minimalist. I feel like just a regular average person and still pretty cluttered. And so I feel like I have too much stuff. I am definitely nowhere near the like ideal minimalist where you like walk into the apartment and there's just a table and some floor pillows and one single plant on the table and everything's white and empty and you feel like you could just sit down and have a 50-minute yoga meditation session. I'm not like that. That would be awesome. I love the way those kind of like yoga meditation buildings look where they're super minimalist and empty and just bright and white. I love that look, but I don't think I could actually achieve that in my own house unless I was like super rich and had a mansion, and then I can do some rooms like that, and then some rooms are just how I actually feel inside, which is not like that. I'm very like cluttered in my own mind as well. I'm like a creative type, and I bounce from one thing to the next, so it's hard to keep every house like this perfectly empty. I love that, and that's great, and it helps clear your mind for focusing, but I don't think I could live like that, at least not in every single room of my house. Right now I only have 2 rooms in my house, so they're just gonna be regular old me right now. So yeah, if you guys have any minimalist tips for me, put them down below. It's kind of like in this spot now where I feel like I've gotten rid of everything I can live without, and there's things that I need still to add to my life, but I don't want to add more because I don't have enough space. And there are some things I could probably, if I really nitty gritty down to the wire, could get rid of more stuff, but I've already gotten rid of so much. So now I'm kind of in a standstill, like what to do, because I need more stuff to organize the stuff that I have, but I also feel like I could get rid of some of the stuff I have, but also a lot of the stuff I have I need. So most of my stuff is clothes. I probably could live without so many clothes. However, when I moved here to Tennessee from California, I needed a lot more clothes because I was freezing and I didn't own any warm clothes. So then I got more clothes. So yeah, it's been a challenge. I'm still trying to live the minimalist life. Right now I'm kind of focused on my diet and trying to, I guess you could say, minimalize my diet, because I'm going on a low carb keto diet. So I'm trying to work on that, work on my physical health and mental health. And then hopefully, I think once I'm focusing on those things that are really important to me, like spending time with family, working on my keto diet, progressing in my Twitch channel, which you guys haven't seen, I do Just Dance and some other video games online, so you should check that out, because that's like one of my main focuses right now. So the keto diet, family, Twitch streaming, and then I feel like that will make it easier to be more minimalist, because I'll realize like, oh, I don't need this book about that I never read, or I don't need this extra thing I'm not focused on that, I'm focused on these other things. So yeah, it's hard to go minimalist, guys, but keep it up. Give me tips below, keep sharing your journey with me, and I will see you guys later. Bye!